Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Maleko. Just in case you guys were wondering how to pronounce that name, it's Maleko. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about my top 3 artists that helped shape my art style. But before we get into it, you guys already know, if you guys have been liking the videos and you guys have been making it all the way through the videos, please hit that like button because it really does help out the channel. And please share the videos if you guys have been liking the videos and you guys found some useful information out of them. Maybe it'll help your friends, your family, or whoever it is that you love and care for. Share it their way. And also, if you guys have been watching the videos and you're not subscribed already, it really does help out the channel if you guys hit that subscribe button as well. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Coming in at number 3. Well, you know, these aren't ranks, so the way I'm numbering them is not going to be necessarily how I rank them. It's just, I guess, the number in which I want to talk about them. So number 3 is this guy named Robert De Jesus. I first found Robert De Jesus in a magazine called EGM. Oh boy, that really dates me. But EGM was a magazine it's a gaming magazine back in the day. And in the back of the magazine, you could submit your artwork, and there's like a lotto, right? Like you had the chance of getting your artwork shown in the EGM magazine, and that was like one of my dreams, was to get into a magazine of that caliber. It was such a big magazine. Well, to me, it was a big magazine, and I loved it because of the fact of the artwork in the back. I could see other people's artwork. So when I first found Robert De Jesus, he drew this picture of Lara Croft. I think this is when like Tomb Raider was just coming out, and it was super popular. So he drew this picture of Lara Croft, and she was jumping in the air, and she had both of her guns, and she was dual wielding, and she was shooting down. So it was just her, and she was just. I wish I could find that picture, and I did try to do some research to see if I can actually find it, but I don't think. Anywhere that I've looked, I can't find it. Such a bummer because it was like one of my favorite drawings, and I remember using that drawing to model some of the pictures that I did. Like I drew my character as doing the same exact pose as her, at least as much as I can remember it. Actually, no. I take that back because I had the magazine. But one of the main reasons why I really love Robert De Jesus' work is because it's very simplified. He has this anime-ish, chibi crossover style, which I love because I think at the time when I was trying to find my art style, I was really going for the comic book look. And I don't know, I feel like I could never really accomplish it as much as I tried to. So I wanted to try to simplify my artwork. I just didn't know how to do it, you know. But when I found his work, I absolutely loved the way his work looked, and so I started copying his art style because it was just simpler lines. It wasn't so detailed, and that's what I wanted to get to, was just getting more simplified looks. Kind of like it had like a cross between like a Pokemon-ish anime look, right? It's not so detailed, it's cartoony enough. And simple enough to see all the details, right? Like you could see the backpacks. The backpacks are cute as hell because they're just basic boxes, right? And you have these like little details. And this is all you need. I feel like this is all you need to really tell that something is something, right? Like the backpack. I think I got into a mindset of just trying to detail everything, where everything had to look a little bit more realistic in order for it to, in order for it to be good. But I think the human brain can kind of put things together for us to understand what those things are. So when it comes to artwork, I feel like we give ourselves too much of a hard time because we're trying to make it so realistic so that people can tell what it is. But that's the reason why I absolutely loved his work. It influenced my work because I was coming off of a comic book, more detailed look, and I wanted to simplify things a lot more. And so when I found his work, and he was, you know, he was, I don't know if he was a professional then, but at the time I looked at it, well, he submitted his work into an art magazine or into a gaming magazine, so I felt like he was like me, like I'm just starting out. So when I saw his style, absolutely fell in love with it, and I wanted to do more of his kind of like artwork. So Robert DeJesus, look him up. Absolutely love his work. He's done, he goes to like anime cons and all that, and he creates badges for people. He'll commission badges, so if you want to get a badge of your chibi face, he'll do that for you. So yeah, I feel like he is one of the first ones I wanted to talk about because he really influenced the style that helped me simplify a lot of things. Coming in at number 2. Again, these aren't ranks, it's just the people I wanted to talk to in the order that I wanted to talk about them. But number 2 is this man's name, Scotty Young. I first found Scotty Young, I actually don't remember how I found Scotty Young, but he was doing things like Spider-Man. I think I was like on this big Spider-Man kick. Scotty Young has this style of a cross between Robert DeJesus, where it's like anime-ish, cartoony, kiddie look, but comic bookish in a way. So it's like it looks like a comic book, but the characters are very simple. They're not like always proportionate or over proportionate, or it's cartoony. Yeah, so the proportions are just exaggerated in every way, which I think is kind of cool. And I also feel like he's got this like Invader Zim-ish. If you guys know what Invader Zim is, again, like I feel like I'm aging myself, but Invader Zim, he's got this feel of Invader Zim. As far as his style goes, which again, Invader Zim was very simple, but had these like details that I really, really loved. So Scotty Young comes into that play where he helped me cross over from comic book to cartoony to kind of let go of just the realistic stuff and play with it. Be more adventurous with cartoon and don't be so stuck on proportions and how they should be. Be more open and just, cartoons are supposed to look funny. They're supposed to represent something. So release, let go, and just try to make fun with it. Try to have fun with it. It shouldn't be so realistic. Alright, you guys, last but not least is Joe Madura. I don't know. I've never known how to say his name, but some of you may know who he is. If you don't, he is the creator of this comic book called Battle Chasers, and he also created this game called Darksiders. I've never played it, but I always just loved his artwork. Joe Mad, I first found him when he was doing comic books of the X-Men, and I was turned to him by one of my art buddies. And so when I first found him, oh my gosh, I loved his artwork. And I definitely first started off with trying to draw. This is where I got the comic book style, was from Joe Mad. When I was in high school, that's where I first, when I was like learning how to draw better through my friends and reading more comic books and getting into that. Finding his artwork, I remember, honestly, shot for shot, I created a comic book based on one of his X-Men comic books, and I remember using the pages as layouts for my comic book. The scenes were kind of typically the same, but in my story they were different. Like the words were obviously different, the characters were different. I may have added a few characters into a scene. I did add my own scenes to it, but in that way, I was trying to learn how comic book people lay things out for their comics, and so I was copying his layout and a lot of his panels, but also in the end, I created my own panels because I wanted to know if I wanted to see can I do it myself? And so that, again, like he was such a big influence on my artwork because there was this cross of Street Fighter, Capcom, and Street Fighter Alpha, the people that did that. That was such a big influence on me because the guy that created that artwork, I think he was influenced by Michelangelo and how he was so detailed, like the actual artist Michelangelo, and how he was so detailed in his statues. Everything, the muscular fixture or the muscular form was almost perfect, so detailed, and his work was that way when it came to like Capcom's work. And so his Joe Mad style was a representation of that, but in the comic book world, which I absolutely loved. And so again, there's a lot of artists out there that I really, really like and that are not a part of this list, but these are some of the top people that have influenced my artwork and where it's gone today. And you know, I'm sure you guys have some artists that you look at and you know, you want to copy their work, or at least you want your work to be as good or somewhere near their work. And for me, I feel, like I said, copying is like a form of flattery for some. Again, it could be, you know, oh my god, she's just trying to copy my work or whatever. But to me, it's, again, like if you're copying my work or my style, it's because you like it. If you're trying to play yourself off like you're me, that's a totally different story. You know, if you're going around being like, oh, this is my work, then we got something to talk about. I remember there was a time when I was drawing, when I had my sketchbook out, and I was like walking home from high school, and one of my brother's friends stopped me, and he was like, hey, is that your sketchbook? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, can I see it? And I was like, yeah. And he looked through my stuff, and he was like, this is your artwork? And I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, are you sure? Because it looks a lot like Ben's. And that's one of the guys that I was learning from. And again, like I was copying. It was such a flattering thing to hear that my artwork looked like his. But at the same time, you kind of realize, well, I don't want my work to always look like his, that people mistake my work for his. So that was the moment when I was like, okay, well, let me go off and branch off and see other artists and see if I can start developing my own style, not just copying his. And so that's where Joe Madura comes in, and then Scotty Young, and then Robert De Jesus. They're the artists that I was like finally looking to develop my artwork more, rather than, you know, again, my buddy who was an artist was so good at it. He was known in our school for his artwork. So I didn't want to come off as that's his work, but again, it was such a great thing to hear that at least it was getting close to his, you know? So yeah, if you guys have any artists that you love, I would love to know who you guys look at for inspiration, and, you know, developing your style. If you're just starting off, it takes some time to develop a style. And now I don't have to look at anything. I could just change the styles depending on how I want it to look. Rather than having to look at someone's artwork and then draw it from there. And again, that's where I started off in the beginning, was just copying a lot before I can do it on my own. And before you do it on your own, guys, it takes a lot of practice. Just remember that. So long as you keep on practicing your artwork every day, it doesn't have to be for hours and hours at a time. It could be for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. These right here that I just did, they were quick sketches to kind of represent the people that I'm talking about today. But these are just quick sketches, nothing too committed. They're just quick little dilly-dallies, dilly-doos. They're just quick little, you know, I don't know what to call them. Not bad. That's not bad, dude. All right. Anyways, those were my top 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to do a few like quick sketches with y'all, nothing too committed. But if you guys want to see me draw something, anything, let me know in the comments down below. I love the challenge. If you guys enjoyed this video and you guys made it all the way to the end and you found this information useful, if you guys have gone to go check out those people's artwork, and if you haven't checked those people's artwork out yet, Robert De Jesus, Scotty Young, and Joe Madura. Go check them out if you guys haven't already. Absolutely their art. And if you guys have any people that you want me to look at, maybe I didn't name them on this list, hit me in the comments down below. I'd love to see other people's artwork. Maybe it's your artwork. If you guys think I should be looking at your artwork, send me your artwork or show me where I can look at your artwork, because I'd love to see your guys' stuff. Alright, you guys, I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace and adobo grease. Sha.